All right, so we are going to graph this inequality. And the first thing that we should notice is this is an inequality. So we have to remember that we need to shade and we need to figure out the type of line. So those are some extra things we need to look at. So for this, it's already in slope-intercept form, which is really nice. And so we want to begin with our b value, and our b value is -2. And so we're going to start with a point at -2 on our y-axis, which is about right there. And then our slope is the +3 in front of our x. And so for slope, we use rise over run. And because it's positive, we're going to go up 3, and then we're going to go to the right 1. So from the red dot, we're going to go up 3 and to the right 1. And we can do it a couple times so it's more accurate. Before we connect our dots, we need to figure out the type of line that we're going to have. So for inequalities, we can either have a dotted line or a solid line. And to know the difference, we look at the inequality symbol. So whenever we have less than or greater than, it's going to be a dotted line. And then if we have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So for this one, it is going to be a solid line because it has the or equal to underneath. And so we can go ahead and make our line through those points like that. And we want to add some arrows on the end. And then the last thing that we need to do is figure out where to shade. So for the shading part, we want to plug in 0 for x. And so we have y is greater than or equal to 3 times 0 minus 2. 3 times 0 is 0, so we have y is greater than or equal to 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2 is just -2. So we have y is greater than or equal to -2. So what that means is we want to shade on the side where the y values are greater than -2. Those y values are up here. And so we want to shade this whole side of the line. And then we graphed our inequality. We're going to look at one more example. This example is a little different because if you notice, it is not in slope-intercept form. So we need to do this one a little different. So for graphing something in standard form, we have two options. We can either rearrange it and put it into slope-intercept form, or we can find our intercepts. You can do either method. I'm going to go through and find our intercept. So for this, we want to plug in 0 to find our intercept. So we're going to have 3 times 0 minus y is less than 12. So doing this will let us find our y-intercept. So 3 times 0 is 0, so that goes away. The minus sign is still there. So we have a negative y is less than 12. We don't want a negative y, and so what we actually need to do is divide both sides by -1. There's an invisible -1 in front of the y, and so to get rid of that, we have to divide by it on both sides. Now this is an inequality, so because we're dividing by a negative sign, we have to flip our sign, so it changes to a greater than. So you have a positive y is greater than a -12. And so we want to put a point on our y-axis at -12. So our graph only goes to -10, but because -12 is so close, we can kind of estimate where it would be. So probably about right there. So we have our y-intercept, and now we want to find our x-intercept. So to find our x-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for y. So we have 3x minus 0 is less than 12. If we're subtracting 0, it's not changing anything. So we have 3x is less than 12. And then to solve for x, we're going to divide both sides by 3, and we get x is less than 4. Since we divided by a positive number, we do not flip our sign. So our x value is 4, so we're going to put point at positive 4 on our x-axis. So we have our two intercepts, and we can go ahead and connect our dots to form our line. But we do want to double check the type of line that we need. So for that, we want to look at our inequality symbol, which is less than. So because it does not have the or equal to sign underneath, it's going to be a dotted line. So we're going to do the best to create a dotted line. You guys would use your rulers. It's close. It should be going through positive 4. And then we need to figure out where to shade. So to find where to shade, we plug in 0 for x, which we are actually already did in all the work right here. And so we got y to be greater than negative 12. So all of the y values that are greater than negative 12 are going to be all the values up here. And so we want to shade above the line on this entire side. So once we shade and we have the correct line, we are all done graphing our inequality.